But because of you, the Lord was angry with me and would not listen to me. That is enough, the Lord said. Do not speak to me anymore about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah and look west and north and south and east. Look at the land with your own eyes, since you are not going to cross this Jordan. But commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will lead these people across and he will cause them to inherit the land that you will see. Deuteronomy 3 verse 26, hearing the voice of God. I'd like to look at this communication by God. It is made with finality. God is rebuking Moses because Moses was asking God for some favors about a matter that God had already addressed himself about. But let us look at it. When God speaks, what does he transmit to you? Number one, look at it. He says, that is enough. When God speaks, his voice brings to an end of your pleadings. There are people who pray and pray and pray, and they do not know when to stop praying because there is no reaction. When God spoke, Moses was in prayer. God told Moses, enough. That is enough. Do not speak to me anymore about this matter. So you are able to know when to stop praying a certain type of prayer and focus on the right. Imagine God did not speak. Moses would have continued to pray about a matter God is not even interested with. And that is where many people are. You are praying about something that God has done away with it. Wrong time ago. And you are there trying to convince God about it. Let God speak. And you will be able to know where to turn your attention to. Imagine, for instance, somebody who is praying for your marriage. God, change my husband. God, change my husband. Return him to me. And God knows he dealt with that case 5 years ago and he forgot about it. And you are still there. But because you don't have the information about the mind of God about what you are praying for, you pray endlessly. And if there is something that is exhausting, is praying endlessly. And God is not expressing himself about the matter. So when God speaks, that comes the end of the prayer you are making. Because his voice will now either tell you I've answered or direct you or change your focus. Number 2, he says, go up to the top of Pisgah. When the voice of God speaks, it reveals to you how you are supposed to position yourself. Go up to the top of Pisgah, positioning. Why are people in confusion? Is because they don't know they are supposed to be operating from where. So you're either operating from the plateaus, from the lowlands, from the wilderness, from the desert, from the craggy rocks. You know, you are just trying where it will work. You're just trying where will it work. But the Lord told him, go up to the top of Pisiga. When the voice of God speaks, it will reveal to you how you ought to position yourself to experience the supernatural. That's why he is telling Abraham, go to the mountains of Moriah. On the mountain I will show you. Sacrifice there Isaac as a burnt offering. But it's only when God speaks you know where you're supposed to be standing at. He tells Moses, there before me there is a rock you can stand on it, and I will put you in the cleft of the rock, and you shall see my back as I pass by. You know, so it is good for God to speak, because you should know where are you supposed to be standing on. You know how to position yourself correctly for an encounter. Elijah hears the soft voice of God, and then he goes out at the entrance of the cave where God was passing at, and he was able to encounter God. The voice of God is very good, because it will tell you, stand on this. It's not mostly about a geographical site. It can be even in terms of mindset. It can even be in terms of belief. It can even be in terms of a relationship. Stand, go on top of the Pisiga. Number 3, he says, the voice of God, he says, look west and north and south and east. When the voice of God speaks, your spiritual eye opens. He is telling him, look. So he enabled him to see. When God is speaking to you, the voice of God enables the eyes to see the form or the image that God is explaining with his own words. So the Lord will be speaking to the ears. That voice, when it enters into your system, it enables the eyes to see what God is talking about. Moses had not stepped into Canaan, but he is the one who drew the map of Canaan, subdivided the land of Canaan, and he gave the map to Joshua to go and implement. But because his eyes saw everything clearly, the subdivisions done by the hand of God. So when the voice of God speaks, your spiritual eyes will open. And he says, look at the land with your own eyes. What we have talked about, since you're not going to cross this Jordan. So when the voice of God speaks, you know your limits, since you're not going to cross this Jordan. Why are people trespassing spiritual things? Because they do not know their boundaries. They do not know their limits. So you are just trying everything. You get me? Even if God is unlimited, he does not have unlimited creatures. His people, that the vessels he uses, even if he is working in them, they are limited in form. Why? Because the mankind, the human, have the tendency of turning it against God, and they become gods themselves. So you're able to know your limitations, so that you don't do things outside the defined boundaries by God. Okay, but commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for you lead these people across, and you will cause them to inherit the land that you will see. Something else I need to know about the voice of God. When the voice of God speaks, the voice of God reveals to you the continuity program of God. How to take things to the next level. Joshua will take these people to the land. Moses was pleading to go there, but the Lord told him it is Joshua. When the voice of God speaks, it teaches you the next level technique, the next level formula. How did Moses position himself to hear this voice of God? It is through earnest intercessory. In verse 23, at that time I pleaded with the Lord, O sovereign Lord, and all that. Earnest intercessory. When you now know how to position yourself in the place of prayer, earnestly, diligently, God most likely, He speaks in response to what you are praying about.